Listen, I know you're tired of all the negativity. And look, I'm tired of it too. And I was looking for a nice story to give to y'all on a Saturday. It's the weekend. People want to relax. We want to wind down. But I got to talk about this. I got to talk about this. And just saying this headline makes me feel unexplainable. Let me just read this to y'all. A six-year-old shot a teacher in a Virginia classroom, police say. Let me read this to y'all. This is out of Norfolk, Virginia. It says a 6-year-old student shot and wounded a teacher at his school in Virginia during an altercation in a first grade classroom just yesterday, police say. What type of altercation is going on in a first grade classroom? There's so much that we got to talk about here. Let me just keep reading. Experts say a school shooting involving a 6-year-old is extremely rare, although not unheard of. I've never heard of anything like that before. So y'all got to inform me. When was the last time that a first grader shot a teacher in a classroom? Y'all got to let me know. While Virginia law limits the ways in which a child that age can be punished for such a crime, no students were injured in the shooting at Rich Neck Elementary School, police said. The teacher, a woman in her 30s, suffered life-threatening injuries. Her condition has improved somewhat by the late afternoon. We did not have a situation where someone was going around the school shooting. So basically, it was just an altercation that broke out in the classroom. I don't know, what type of altercation do y'all think would have to break out in a classroom? And now, granted, 6-year-olds, obviously, they're 6, right? They're not the most rational. So obviously, it don't take much to trigger a 6-year-old. But who in their right mind is going to think that a 6-year-old is going to go and pull out a piece and start firing at the teacher? What type of world are we? Wow. He said the boy had a handgun in the classroom and investigators were trying to figure out where he obtained it. The police chief did not provide further details about the shooting, the altercation, or what happened inside the school. It would be nice if we had some more details. If y'all have the details, let us know the details. It said the police chief did not specifically answer questions about whether authorities were in touch with the boy's parents, but said members of the police department were handling that investigation. We've been in contact with the Commonwealth's attorney, local prosecutor, and some other entities to help us best get services to this young man. Newport News City is about 185,000 people. Wow. A 6-year-old is walking around with a gun and is firing on the teachers.
This is outside of Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia, where a 6-year-old student shot and wounded a Virginia teacher during an altercation inside a first grade classroom. That's according to police and school officials there in the city of Newport News. No students were injured in the shooting. The teacher, a woman in her 30s, suffered life-threatening injuries. Newport News Police Chief Steve Drew told reporters that her condition had improved somewhat by late afternoon. Police said the child had a handgun in the classroom and that they took that student into custody. Parents and students were reunited at a gymnasium door, according to Newport News Public Schools. There you see law enforcement on the scene. Earlier this afternoon, you saw so many police, onlookers, bystanders, parents, family members there beyond that yellow police tape, waiting to be reunited with their loved ones and their children. Newport News is a city of about 185,000 people in southeastern Virginia, known for its shipyard, which builds the nation's aircraft carriers and other U.S. Navy vessels. Rich Neck Elementary has about 550 students. It's a K through 5 institution. That's according to the Virginia Department of Education's website.
You know what the sad part is? And this whole story is sad, so don't get me wrong. But you know what the extremely sad part is? Have y'all noticed, like, once something like this happens, it seems like more and more of these types of stories start to happen. And I don't wish that to be the case. I hope this is the opposite of what I'm saying. I hope people recognize where we are in this season of the world. That's all. We're in a season of the world like we've never seen before. 6-year-olds are picking up guns and shooting their teachers. We've never seen this before. We got to recognize the season that we are in. And people will say, oh, well, Nick, you just be talking about that end time stuff and, Jesus is coming and it's only going to get worse. Well, is it not getting worse? Is it not? And unfortunately, these children nowadays, because of the internet, because of social media, because of parents just not being in touch with God, these parents of these children are not right with God. So how are you going to raise a child when you yourself are not right with God? Whatever you put in them is not going to be good because you yourself are not in a good position spiritually with God. And we're seeing the effects of that. We're seeing the effects of social media forcing children to grow up faster than we've ever seen before. And yes, there's other countries that are going through much more harsher conditions. Literally, children in other countries like Africa, they don't have food. They don't have a mattress to sleep on. They don't have schools to go to. They don't have water. They don't have transportation. They don't have electricity. So yes, children in those situations, they're forced to grow up fast as well. But we're seeing something with the implementation of technology, specifically in America, social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everything. These children have access to so much information that it's forcing them to grow up in a way that we've never seen before. And when this information that they have access to is not rooted in Christ, when it's not rooted in Jesus, then we see what happens. It has negative impacts. That's why suicide rate is so high right now. That's why depression and anxiety is so high right now amongst children. That's why so many children are having gender identity issues. Because there's so much information. There's an overload of information. Then we have incompetent parents who don't know how to properly manage that flow of information that is going to their children. And now we have children, 6-year-old children. I have a 7-year-old. I could not imagine my 7-year-old picking up a gun, going into her classroom and shooting at her teacher. That is something I would never imagine in a million years. Only in hell would I think that would be a possibility. But now we're here. And now these are real things that we have to deal with. And people are going to say, well, this is a gun control issue. That's what people are going to say. It's a gun control issue. Look, maybe it is, but at the root of it, I don't think that's the primary issue. At the root of it, it comes down to these parents not being right with God. That's what it comes down to. You can't tell me that a family who grows up in a Christian household, a truly Christian household, I know there's a lot of different variations of Christians nowadays. You've got these progressive Christians. You got all these different types of Christians who want to make the Bible and they want to make the Bible fit their lifestyle. But I'm talking about the true Christians who follow the Bible, who know Jesus. You can't tell me that a child from a truly Christian household is going to pick up a gun and do that, or that they would even have access to a gun to do something like that. You can't tell me that. I know what the solution is. The solution is Jesus. And that's why I'm saying, bro, he's coming back. Jesus is coming back. And that's good news, because without Jesus, man, we gonna see how y'all gonna see how bad it's gonna get. Y'all gonna see how bad it's gonna get. I pray that this story does not inspire other stories like this. But I think it's probably going to end up inspiring other stories like this. I wish we had more details, because right now, you know, obviously it says that he's in custody, or I don't know if it's a boy or if it's a girl. You know, I don't know. I don't know who did this necessarily. And I don't think they're going to tell us, which it's still a child, right? You can't blame a child. You can't blame a child. You got to blame the adults. You have to blame the adults. You can't blame a child. A 6-year-old, their brain is still developing. You can't blame the child, but somebody's going to prison. Somebody's going to prison. And look, I'm praying for the family. I'm praying for the school, but you can't tell me that you've ever seen something like this before in your life. If you have, let me know in the comments if you've seen something like this before, because I have not. I have not. So once again, look, I know I started this off. I said, look, I was hoping I could bring you something more positive, but this is the world that we live in right now. But have hope. Be encouraged. Get closer to God right now in these times. Lean on him. Focus on your relationship with God, because that's the only thing that we can take with us for eternity. So let me know what y'all think about this story. Comment, like this video, subscribe. I'm out.